What's going on, guys? We are back and at the second chance bracket. Um, and a lot of this, as you know, has been a crazy March Madness. We saw Fairleigh Dickinson knock off Purdue the second time ever. We saw a 16th seed knock them off. I believe you're going to see him somewhere in here. Princeton, a 15th seed. They got to the Sweet 16. We saw a lot of shocking things happen. Furman won in the first round. It's really been a crazy March Madness. Here's some of the teams that you can expect to see in it. But we're going to do a second chance bracket. And first, we got Alabama and San Diego State. Let's take a quick little peek at what they have going on here. So here's the matchup predictor. We're looking at about a 82% chance that the Crimson Tide win this one. But here's just the recent games. Obviously, College of Charleston, 6-point win for San Diego and the Aztecs. They blew out Furman. Furman, one of those teams that everybody was loving to pick in that first round. They did not get it done in the second round. Alabama, as you can see, they've ran the table. This Corpus Christi team, no match, 21-point victory, and then they got better in the second round and knocked off Maryland by 22. So just complete obliteration of the entire tournament so far. And like I said, 82% chance here for Bama. Brandon Miller, he struggled a little bit in that first game, but I think at the end of this, when it's all said and done, if you struggled with the College of Charleston and Alabama has yet to struggle, I think Alabama probably wins this one. So we're going to click out of that, and we are going to pick Alabama to come out on top there. But Alabama, once again, one of two 1 seeds that are still available in this tournament. Then we go to Creighton Princeton. We're going to click on the preview here. Princeton, one of those shocking teams we didn't think was going to be here. Spreads 10. They do not have a predictor here on this one. This kid has been a standout. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Evbuagwan. He's really been a standout for this Princeton team. And then if you RJ Nembhard, Ryan Nembhard, he had a good game. Let's see if we can bring up the full player stats because Kalkbrenner, he had a big 30-point game to start off for Creighton. But I want to see if I can think of this I want to see if I can think of these Princeton kids' names because they had some guys that had some pretty solid showings. Let's see if I can just click. Let's just click on this Missouri game. This Missouri game, I thought Missouri, Kobe Brown, and that might be a little bit too much for them to handle. But can we get this? Can we get what we need here? Show me the results of this game. Show me the box scores so I can bring up these kids' names because they deserve to have their names mentioned. This kid, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Not even act like I do. He's really been a standout for me at least. He's kept them in check and they've really had a good job. But this kid right here, he deserves a big shout out. He was a big scorer for them. Ryan Langborg, I believe he was the only rated recruit on the entire Princeton team. He had a really good game against Missouri. 22 points there. As you can see, this Peters kid came off the bench and did his thing for them as well. Shooting the rock, 5 for 8 from 3, came in, did what needed to be done. And then obviously you got a Creighton team. They got Kalkbrenner. They had Nembhard, Arthur Kaluma. They just had a really solid outcome as well. Creighton, they really impressed me. I think Kalkbrenner's playing some of the best basketball in the entire country. I'm coming into the Sweet 16. Him and I would probably say Adama Sanoga are probably the two best players going right now. You got a guy like Brandon Miller, but I still don't think he's came around nearly to the same level as Kalkbrenner or Sanoga has in this tournament. So I'm going to go Creighton. Creighton's they're a tough team, man. They are a tough team, and I could see them easily beating Princeton. Princeton, a little bit in an easier matchup. Obviously, we keep saying that about these teams. Yes, it's an easier matchup, but they're a gritty team. They're a team that's found their way here for a reason, and that's because they know exactly what they're good at. They're good at exploiting the other team's weaknesses, and they're able to really rely on their bigs. Their bigs have been really good in this tournament. They've done a good job at shutting down other teams' bigs. We get to this FAU Tennessee matchup. FAU, the team to knock off the 16th seed Fairleigh Dickinson. They did that a few hours ago. FAU um, really coming on here as a legitimate threat. And this kid right here, I don't. This kid right here, number one, has been really a standout. He had a. Let's see if I can pull it up. They don't have today's game listed against Fairleigh Dickinson, but I'm trying to remember this kid's name. Something Davis, number one. This Rosado kid has also been pretty solid for them. Let's bring up the box scores. Um, Obviously, they won their game today, but this kid right here, Davis, has been really solid for him. John L. Davis, he's really been their go-to guy down the stretch, and he's really came out on top and just really taken over games late. But you look at some of their bench guys. Rosado's done a good job for them. Boyd's even done a good job for them. He helped them really come out in this game with some late scoring. And Golden's a pretty big center, man. 2 blocks, nothing to be shy about. They definitely got some guys when you look at them. But then you're looking at a Tennessee team that I think probably played one of the best games I've seen in this tournament against Duke. Tennessee really just did their thing against this Duke team. A Duke team that I thought could give them struggles because Tennessee was going in without Zakai Ziegler. But really, that didn't really matter because this Tennessee team was able to stretch out both of their bigs and was able to get the job done. And they did it pretty handily too. They won by 13, a lot bigger than I thought was going to be the case here. But let's get in here to the box scores a little bit. But this kid right here, obviously the standout, 3 for 4 from three. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I'm not going to act like I do. Vescovi, returning player. He's a good March Madness kind of guy. One guy you don't want to run into. Josiah Jordan-James did not have a good game, but I do like him. Think he's really good. Julian Phillips, also same thing there. Didn't play nearly enough to have that many points, but also a really good player. And then you got guys on the bench like Adu who had 3 blocks. Just really solid play all around. Really good shooting, 42% from a 3. It's about 27 points from the 3-point land. They can stretch you out a little bit, and if they do, it's going to be a rough time for you. In Tennessee, I think I do like Janelle Davis. I do think FAU has a chance, but unfortunately, I think Tennessee's going to be a little bit too much to handle, especially if they're shooting the rock like they were so far in this tournament. Then you get to this Michigan State-Kansas State game, 2 teams that are really similar, if you ask me. 2 teams that rely a little bit on the guard play. They do have a big that is pretty effective. But if you take a look at this Kansas State team, it's not going to mention it here, but it could be mentioned because he did it again. Marquise Noel, one of the best players in the entire country, at least in this tournament. He had a double-double in this game, if we can find it. Yeah, Marquise Noel, he had a double-double here, 17 and 14, and he claimed close to another double-double today. Marquise Noel did. But Marquise Noel putting on a scoring showcase here in March Madness. Been one of the best scorers in the entire tournament. And then you got guys like Keontae Johnson who are really supporting him well as a supporting cast. So they do have that dynamic duo there going. But then you look at a team in Michigan State that's really came on here in March. And they really came on because I think personally defensively is where they came on the most. Because it's going to be delayed here, so I'm just going to keep talking. Matty Sissoko, he's had a really, really good tournament. He's blocked 2 shots in both games. The offense necessarily hasn't been there for him. I think he's had like 6 and something else. Was this a 6-point game for him? 6-4. The offense really hasn't really been there for Matty Sissoko, but those blocks have been. He's really picked it up defensively and given the Spartans hope defensively. And then you got this three-headed monster of double-digit scorers in Joey Hauser, A.J. Hoggard, and Tyson Walker, who've all played really solid down the stretches of games. And then you got some veterans on the bench like Malik Hall. So this Michigan State team's also a very tough team going into this game. I just think there's too much versatility on Michigan State. I honestly do. If Matty Sissoko can prevent Marquise Noel from getting to the rim, or Marquise Noel or deterring him a little bit from shooting as much as he has, this could be a problem for Kansas State. It could potentially lead to Michigan State winning. Three-headed monster there in Michigan State. All three of those guys can put up points. We've seen them take over at points of their games already. And I think Kansas State, they kind of really rely on either Keontae Johnson or Marquise Noel, and I think this is where it's going to be divide them, and Michigan State comes out on top there. So that is going to be our Elite Eight there. Let me get into this Houston-Miami game. Miami really came on today. I thought Miami was a weaker team in this tournament. They proved me not. I'm not even really going to go into either of these games because they both kind of like, yeah, well, look, Drake gave them a little bit of scare. They dominated the end of that game. Auburn, no contest. Houston kind of choked up against Northern Kentucky, but this kid right here, Isaiah Wong, has really stood out, at least for me, for Miami. He's gone on and been really good for them. He's been the guy that's helped close out games, and he's also been that veteran leader off their starting lineup. And then they don't list him here, but I think probably one of the best defenders in the entire tournament left. Very lengthy guy in Jarris Walker. He also has had a really solid tournament, in my opinion. And both of those guys are going to be crucial to their team's success here in this game. I don't know. Something's telling me Houston, but this North Kentucky game concerns me. They concern me for a period of time in this Auburn game. I'm going to trust Houston, but Houston at times in this tournament has looked weak, and Miami has been one of those teams in this tournament that they've also looked weak, but come the end, they're able to blow it away. They're able to go on runs, and I wouldn't be shocked if Miami's the team to knock off Houston because I don't think Houston is as untouchable as we think they might be heading into this tournament. Let me get Xavier versus Texas. Both of these teams did what they were supposed to do. They both won their games. They got to where they're supposed to be. Teddy Allen coming back, huge for Texas in my opinion. He's been able to help them. Close game here against Penn State. Big win against Colgate. Close game against Kennesaw. I believe Xavier also played a close game today. Who did they play today? Can we see who Xavier played today? I forget who they played today. It's up here, Pitt. 11-point game against Pitt. They blew away. They took that game away late from Pitt. But I just see a lot more promise in this Texas team. Texas is clicking. They have the big. I don't know if he's going to pull up here, but he's been dominating this entire tournament. I think his last name's like Dessou. He had like 27 points the other day. 28 points here. Dessou. He's really dominated for Texas. I think this is where Xavier's run comes to an end. Texas is the team to knock off Xavier, and they will be playing Houston there in the Elite Eight. And then we've already mentioned him. One of the best players in this entire tournament from what I've seen so far. You have Adam Sanogo, who is dominated. He's had two 20-point games, 20-plus point games. He's averaging 26 in the tournament. And then you look at Arkansas. They're definitely led by Ricky Council there. Even Jordan Walsh has been really good for them defensively. He's had 5 steals over 2 games. So he's been really solid for them. But really, when you look at this UConn team, it's a matter of they need to pull away sooner. And Arkansas has been a team that has had 2 games where they've looked really good and have been good late. So this could be one of those games that go down to the wire. I think the kid's name is Jordan Hawkins out of UConn. Let me make sure it is his name. But this kid, Jordan Hawkins, if I'm thinking of the right kid, he went on He didn't do too hot in the first half for either of these games, but he had an explosion late in both games where he was hitting threes left and right. And his name was Jordan Hawkins, but he's hit threes left and right there at the end and really came on late and helped propel them to victories. And I'm tempted to take Arkansas and Ricky Council, but I think Adam Sanogo is probably the best player going on right now in the entire tournament. So I gotta bet. I gotta bet on Adam Sanogo, and I gotta take him because I don't really know who's stopping him at Arkansas. Yes, Jordan Walsh could potentially double team him there and help whomever's guarding him, but I don't really see that happening. Sanogo is just gonna outpower you, and I don't really see how that's gonna be much of a concern for UConn. I think they probably just win that game pretty easily. We'll see what ends up happening though. Then we get to this Gonzaga UCLA game. Obviously, we know who's been carrying these teams: Drew Timme, Jaime Jaquez, Tiger Campbell. No Jalen Clark, but we really know that Drew Timme is just the lifeblood of this entire Gonzaga team. They go as Drew Timme goes, and trusting a UCLA team that has been good all year. Has a player in Jaime Jaquez. It has a lot of guys like Adam Bona. I don't know if Bona's healthy. Is Bona gonna play? Because I know he was hurt. But if Bona cannot play, maybe this is something to be concerned about if you're a UCLA fan. But honestly, I think Cronin and them probably got it handled. Really, all you have to do, in my opinion, to beat this Gonzaga team is limit Drew Timme. And yeah, Bona's playing. So, like I said, I don't see a situation here where UCLA loses this game. Gonzaga really is a one-man show in Drew Timme. I think UCLA is the team to get it done there. And since we've looked at these teams, we'll just pick them from now on. But we saw how they got here, and we talked a little bit about their players. Now we're just going on who we think is going to win. Alabama, they haven't been given a real test yet. San Diego State might be that team. I don't know if Creighton's going to be that team, but something's telling me that Creighton, the way they've been shooting, Kalkbrenner and company, Nimhard, the way he's been playing, I believe he tied his career high. That Creighton team, I'm telling you, I feel something good about them. I think Creighton wins that game. Then you look at this Tennessee-Michigan State matchup. Izzo going up against Tennessee and their squad. And this is where I think finally the Zakai Ziegler thing gets to Tennessee. They're a versatile team, yes. They can shoot at will, yes. But at some point, they're more than likely going to fall. And I think that three-headed monster and Joey Hauser, Tyson Walker, and AJ Hogg are going to probably be a little bit too much for them to handle. They can just keep throwing those guys at you, and they're going to come in and do their thing, and they're going to put up 15 points, something around there each. And you got a guy in Sissoko who's going to come in there, and he's going to block you, and you're not going to really have much to do about it. Tennessee, I think this is probably where they come to an end. It was a good run for Tennessee, but I think that's probably it for Tennessee. Then we get Houston and Texas. This Houston team's really scared me this tournament. They've allowed teams to play close with them. Auburn, they took away late. Texas, on the other hand, I've been really impressed by their big and Dessou. I think Marcus Carr, Teddy Allen, all those guys are great to have on their team. And I think Texas is probably, if there's going to be a team to knock off Houston, it would be them. And when I look at this, I think Texas is the pick. Something's telling me that this Houston team is not the team. I'm not sure what it is, whether that's Marcus Sasser being on again, off again injury wise, or just their lack of consistency really throughout this entire tournament. So far, where they've looked vulnerable, I think Texas would be the team to exploit that, and I'm taking Texas. Then we get to UConn versus UCLA. Two teams I think would be a big clash. I would love to see Bona and Sanogo go at it. I would love to see a lot of these players go at it, actually. Jaime Jaquez should be a fun player here to watch. But I don't necessarily believe in this UCLA team. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. The way UConn's been playing, I think UConn is on the upper echelon. I'm taking UConn. It might come back to bite me, but I really like this UConn team the way that Sonogo's been playing, and we're taking UConn. End of story. Then we get to the Final Four: Creighton, Michigan State, Texas, UConn. That's our Final Four. something we probably couldn't have predicted a few days ago, even before the tournament started. But Creighton, Michigan State, this is where I think probably Izzo and those guards probably come to an end. Sissoko, as good as he's been at blocking shots so far in this tournament, Kalkbrenner's been all that better at getting rebounds, getting putbacks, all that stuff. Kalkbrenner's been one of the best players in this tournament, and I think he probably continues that going for Creighton. I think Kalkbrenner's probably a little bit too much to handle. I don't think Michigan State has the answer for him. In this Texas UConn game, I think this is going to be a great game. Dessou, Sanogo, they're going back and forth. I would love to sit here and say Sanogo and company are going to be the team, but unfortunately, I think Texas just has too many weapons that they're going to throw at you, and I think Texas makes it past Sanogo. I would love to see Sanogo make it, but I don't think he will. Unfortunately, I think Texas probably gets the job done. And then we get Creighton, Texas here. Creighton, like I said, I love the way Kalkbrenner's been playing. I love the way Nimhard's been playing. They also have a shooter on their team. I forget his name. I believe he wears 55, wears a headband. But he's been shooting pretty well. Lights out so far for them. Texas, once again, I think one of the more versatile teams in the entire country. They got guards they can throw at you. They got bigs they can throw at you. It's really just a tough task to beat this Texas team. I think this is going to be a great matchup. You got Kalkbrenner on one side, you got Dessou on the other, you got Nimhard on one side, Marcus Carr, veteran over there. Creighton, younger team. I think a lot of their starters are sophomores. Texas, a little bit on the older side. I think Texas wins it. They're just a little bit more experienced. I don't know how many points are going to be scored, so we're just going to throw out a random number, 167. But that's pretty much it. I'm taking Texas to win the national championship against Creighton. But I think Kalkbrenner is probably somebody you definitely need to watch out for if you're making these brackets. Those three guards at Michigan State, potentially Jonell Davis. There at FAU, he's been making a solid run. If Arkansas is able to get past this, I think you're looking at like a Ricky Council, obviously Marquise Noel over here. You're looking at probably a Jaime Jaquez if UCLA were to advance, or a Drew Timme there. Xavier, they got a lot of different guys they can throw at you. Miami, you're probably looking at an Isaiah Wong. And then Houston, I think you need a good Marcus Sasser, a fully healthy Marcus Sasser to go far, farther than what I have them going. I have them making the Elite Eight, which is good, but I think if they win the national championship, Marcus Sasser's got to be in full health. But I'm taking Texas. I'm not going to change it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.